Hey guys, so today we have the video, what you guys have been asking me for, and it's to show you guys how I deal with high stagger. Now, the first thing you're going to need and that I recommend is a Monk Stagger bar, and the reason for that is the Blizzard stock stagger bar sucks, and this one is a lot more helpful. As you'll see right now, the Blizzard one is pretty hard to see, and it only goes up to a certain number, even though in reality, as you can see in this add-on, it can go up to way much higher. So as part of this, I would recommend you get this add-on and use it. As you guys see from my video, I normally keep it in the middle of my screen so I can always see at all times like how high my stagger is. Now, to explain this a little better, this is from my Pit of Siren 18. It's the first pull. And as you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage, right? I've already used up both my Purifies, but they're coming back up because I'm doing my rotation. Now, you're going to see here in a minute that my stagger spikes up to 1.5 million, right? But because I have one charge of Purifying Brew, I'm going to be fine, right? All I have to do is just purify this, and then I'm reducing the chunk damage that I'm taking, because as you can see from my health bar, I won't go from 100% to 75% like every other second, and I don't want that. Two, if you see under my health bar, you see that my new Zao is up. I have 20 seconds left on it, but he's also taking part of that stagger damage, right? So, purifying stagger also heals your new Zao, apart from healing yourself. So, what you're gonna see in a second here is that every time I'm over 1 million stagger, I'm going to purify because I'm trying to make sure that I'm consistently taking smoother damage, and I'm also keeping the 15% mastery buff. Now, I have Black Ox Brew, so I can reset my purifiers if I need. Now, here you're going to see what happens when you don't purify when you're over 1 million, right? As I said before, I'm taking chunks of damage because my stagger is high and my healer is busy healing myself and the group. Mind you, we do have Lust up, so it should be easier. But that doesn't mean that you should kind of neglect your job as a tank to make sure that you're also okay so that the healer is healing other people and not just you. And as you'll see here, my health starts to chunk because now my stagger keeps going up. So this also puts pressure on the healer. As you can see, he had the spirit link here. And as soon as I purify and I start taking less damage, I stabilize myself and he can focus on the rest of the party. So again, that's also why it's very important to be responsible about how you use your defensives. In this case, Purifying Brew and Celestial Brew and all of that. This is another clip from the same run where I'm going to show you how I use Purifying Brew as a defensive against tank boosters. Now, these Grave Blades, they do Frostborn Slash, right? Which is a lot of damage that you take. Now, look at the clip and you're going to see that my stagger's at green and then yellow because the shaman stunned all of them. And as soon as they start to attack me here, my stagger goes up to red. Boom. I purify and I'm good. Back to yellow. And now, I don't have any charges of Purifying Brew, but just doing your rotation and using Death Touch to clear your stagger makes it so that you're safe to keep going. What do we do when now we have two Grave Blades? Now, these aren't pulled in like 20s and stuff, but here, because this is still a pretty simple key, quote unquote, we'll pull both of them, right? Now, something you need to understand is that after every Dark Rupture, they cast their Frostbane Slash. As you're going to see here, they're both going to start casting it. Okay, now they're casting it. What do we do? Well, we have a Purifying Brew, and the second charge is about to come off cooldown, right? I also have a Celestial Brew and a Fortifying Brew if things really get scary. So what I have to do is, one, I preemptively clear my stagger, the first one, and then as soon as I get hit by both, I clear it again to make sure that my stagger is under 1 million, right? Now, why do I want to keep it under 1 million? Well, because it keeps me a red stagger for 15% mastery, and also it makes it so that I'm not taking a lot of stagger damage while also getting hit by all of these, right? Because I'm trying to prepare the next pull, as you can see here, because the first caster is almost dead, and bring those two Great Blades in with this. Now, I'm going to keep doing the same thing, right? I'm going to always make sure that after every Dark Rupture, I have at least one Purifying Brew so that I can cleanse when they do a Frostbane Slash. They're both going to do it now. I get hit to 1.7 million, clear, back down to 900k, and I'm up again. I clear again. So every time I get hit by a tank buster, I'm using it, right? We're self healing a pretty decent portion because of our Vital Flame, and also our healer is doing a good job of keeping us up. So clearing every time you get over 1.1 million, 1.5 million, it makes it so you stay in red stagger, but you're also not in danger of ticking out from stagger damage. These are just four basic things you need to keep in mind when you purify, and also works in conjunction with the add-on, right? So, one, you can purify whenever you're over a million stagger, just because when you purify as a Master of Harmony or even Shadowpan, you'll still be within the red, but you're cutting your stagger taken by half, pretty much, right? Two, you can hold on to your two purifying brews. Now, I've seen a lot of brewmasters tell everyone, "Oh, well, you shouldn't sit on two. You should always use one." Sure, there's a benefit to that, but for a lot of people who are beginning, you can sit on two. Like, don't feel pressured to use one purifying brew if you don't need to, right? If you're sitting on two, that's fine. There's going to be a moment where you might need to, like back to back, right? As you saw there during the previous poll that I did. Your rotation makes it so that you constantly have at least one purifying brew up. You're never going to be more than like 5 or 6 seconds without a purifying brew, so you shouldn't really have to worry about that. Number three, purifying the high stagger can reduce its cooldown and be a big heal. Now, in order for this to work, you need to spec into high tolerance. Even 1 point is okay. I know they reduced it, so instead of being 3 and 6 seconds, now it's 2 and 4. But still, 2 seconds off every time you purify a red stagger. I mean, it's a help, right? So if you spec into high tolerance, this definitely helps with the cooldown. And then number four, you can use your purifying brew as a heal, right? In the beginning of the run for Pit of Sauron, I used both of mine as sort of like minor heals to make sure that I can get into position, and make sure that my healer wasn't like feeling terrified that I was gonna get one shot, right? So I used them as minor heals to make sure that I was up, and I knew that I had Black Ox brew, so it would reset my purifying brews, so I wasn't in any danger, right? So, you know, you can be smart about this by following these four kind of guidelines, and then you don't have to panic as to like, oh, but I have to maintain high stagger because of the talent for mastery, or I was told to always use one and only keep one. No, like, there's different ways to play Brewmaster, but because they've removed a lot of the clutter, um, it's a lot easier to maintain your stagger high and also not rut out because of it, and not apply pressure to your healer to the point where he feels like he's having a hard time keeping you up, right? Now, some minor things like even itemization helps, right? Critical strike rating. Because of Celestial Fortune, there's a chance based off of our crit chance that we also get a 70% heal. So if a healer heals us for 200k, 70% of that can heal us again based off of our crit chance, right? So it's a 34% chance to get a 70% heal, which would be 140k more, right? Um, Versatility. It reduces the damage we take and increases the damage we deal and the healing we do, which folds into our talents and other stuff like expel harm with the orbs and vivify, right? So itemization is also kind of important. So I hope this video helps. I try to make it as short as possible. I'll add the timestamp so you guys can hop around. But that's just the way I look at it. I mean, other people might look at it differently, but the add-on definitely helps because having a visual to see stagger and how much it's taking for or how much it's accumulated definitely helps, right? It makes it easier for you to make a better judgment call on when you want to use Purifying Brew. I hope you guys learned a couple of things. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll get to them. I always answer. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.